Before we get into it, if you don't know why she's in her cast here, she broke both of her wrists. Make sure to watch that video if you're here on YouTube to hear the complete story. With my daughter Alexa's recent bike accident, I want to say how I feel that I'm partially responsible. And I feel bad about it a little bit, but not in a bad way, because I would never do anything advertently. But I think I gave some advice to Alexis, which she might have used literally. I talked to her that night about this, and I'm proud of myself for doing that, because I basically said, Alexis, I want to talk to you about something that I said. I want to know how that impacted what you were doing when you were going down the hill. So, as you know, we were going fast down a hill, or pretty fast. I mean, it was a hill, and Alexis lost balance and she fell. What I told her right before that is I said, when you're going down a hill and you're about to go up a hill, make sure you're going as fast as you can near the bottom so that you can go up the hill easier. Because our daughters, they have a hard time getting up hills. When you're going down the hill at the very end, make sure you get your legs going so that you can use that momentum from the hill to go up the next hill, so that you can go up it as much as you can without having to get off and walk. After the accident, I thought about it and I felt really bad, because I think Alexis might have kicked in her mind too soon to get her legs moving, even though there wasn't enough friction on the bike, because there's no gears to make it harder to churn. So she was essentially trying to pedal when there's no friction, and that is going to make the bike wobbly. It's kind of like walking upstairs and you don't see the next stair, and you kind of like, your foot misses it. It's kind of the same feeling. So I think I'm partially responsible for that, or I want to take blame for it, because she might have done that on her own, but I know that specifically I said that to her. And I should have been more clear. And I should have said, you might be going down some of these hills really fast, and because you don't have gears on your bike, don't pedal if you're going fast. Wait until you feel that you're slowing down. And I feel bad for that, because obviously Alexis got hurt and my wife, broke both of her wrists. And I thought about that until I put them down for bed, and I'm like, I need to own up to this. And so I set the girls down, and I told her that. I said, Alexis, I want to say that I might be partially responsible for the accident, or at least I want to tell you about why I feel bad. And that's my bad, because I'm the dad and I'm the teacher and I'm the parent, and I should have done a much more clearer job. But obviously I didn't think that, in 1,000 years that anybody would have a wreck. I just didn't think so.
Well, part of this whole thing, and this is, I think, something you and I disagree or fight about, is I don't plan for, or should I say, I plan for the wreck, hoping it doesn't happen, not expecting it to happen, but planning for it, which is why I buy safety gear, which is why I say things like, put your elbow and knee pads on, not because I don't want you to ride and be scared of riding, but I want you to know that you might fall, and if you do fall, at least you're going to up and get on this bike. I'm not trying to avoid a fall, because you can't. You're going to fall. Everybody falls on a bike. I've fallen a million times as a kid, but I do know that the times that I fell, that if I would have had something on my elbows or my knees, that fall would have been more of a, I bumped my elbow, but I didn't scrape off all the skin. That's why I am somebody who buys that stuff. And it has nothing to do with, I don't want them to take risk or ride. No, actually, I want you to be more comfortable taking the risk, because now you know that if you fall, you're going to get back up and just start going again.
That's not true, though.
What's not true?
Doesn't mean you're going to get back up. I mean, with a pad on your elbow, you can still break your elbow. You might not get a laceration or a scrape. I didn't
say you can't break it. Yes, you could possibly break it, but most accidents don't end in breakage. Most accidents on bikes with kids is scrapes and bumps and bruises.
Well, no, I agree that it's obviously great to be safe, and the evolution of safety has been great through our generations. I remember when I was very young, I think my mom told me that, she didn't even put me in a car seat. You just kind of bounced around the car. Yeah. And even before that, things change.
But imagine people if you got in a car accident where you weren't in a car and you went flying through the windshield.
Oh, you'd be dead. Yeah. You'd be dead. But the psychological impact is what I like to teach to my kids, is that they can do anything. Now, if you have an elbow pad on or even in a car, having an airbag can be more damaging than not having the airbag. So there's sometimes where safety is a detriment to your health and your safety. Now, if you're riding a bike and you have a helmet, obviously you don't want to bang your head on the ground in whatever. I agree that safety matters, but I also think that sometimes we're too cautious that we don't do anything because we feel that we might get hurt. And that's a separate subject. But all I'm saying is that I felt bad that I might have given some advice that I didn't fully explain, and that's my bad. And that was my bad. And I talked to her directly before bed, and I wanted to let her know that. And I did let her know that. And then what I take with me is that next time I have to make sure I do a better job to make sure that, whoever you're teaching to or giving tutelage to is safe. And of course, you want them to have the right gear at all times. Like nobody's going to jump out of a plane without safety gear on. Like you just don't know.
Saying that's part of something that I thought about was like, I should have not laxed back on what I normally do, which is like, hey, obviously they all put their helmet on, but hey, make sure you put on your little pads. It takes you 2 seconds to put them on. It's not going to affect the way you're riding. It's not going to do anything to you. But what it will do is if you do fall in that type of way to where you got that scratch now, you won't have it. What I'm saying, I feel like sometimes you think I'm telling them don't ride your bike fast. Or I'm like, no, I'm not telling you that at all. I'm saying ride your bike fast as you can, and you might fall. But if you fall, maybe you won't get a scrape.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I take the stance of I want our kids to be safe, but there's a psychological aspect that I think is really important to let kids know that, sometimes you're going to fall down and you're going to get hurt.